Today's episode is for the parents and carers who end most evenings feeling like they ran an emotional marathon. For the ones who've said things like, why is homework always a battle? Why can't we just get through one task without tears? I feel like I'm getting it wrong. No one else's child seems to struggle like this. If that's you, breathe. You're not alone, you're not failing, and you're doing far better than you think.
Welcome back to Neurodiverse Voices. I'm Cara, a teacher, business owner, and just like many of you, someone trying to navigate this wild journey of being neurodivergent in a world that doesn't always get it. Before I get into this episode, I just want to apologise. This is editing Cara and not Cara that recorded this yesterday. I have background noise that I just can't seem to get rid of, so I apologise in advance. I hope it doesn't distract you from the episode too much. And if there's anybody that's watching, listening, that could let me know how to get rid of those little annoying noises in the background, I would be so grateful. Enjoy the episode.
Neurodivergent children often experience homework in ways that are completely different to what school systems expect. And once we understand why, we can create routines that feel calmer, kinder, and more realistic for everyone involved. So the truth parents rarely hear: you're doing better than you think. Before we start talking strategy, I want to start with you, the adult listening. I work with so many families who carry a huge amount of invisible guilt. Guilt for losing their patience, for saying the wrong thing, guilt for not completing the homework sheet, or for not being that perfect parent. But here's the truth: neurodivergent learners don't need perfect parents. What they need is attuned parents, ones who notice what's hard, who adjust expectations, who care enough to keep trying. And you're here listening to this episode because you care. That already tells me everything I need to know. You're doing better than you think. So why is homework especially hard for neurodivergent children? Well, let's break this down honestly, because clarity becomes compassion. Neurodivergent children often struggle with cognitive fatigue, executive functioning challenges, perfectionism and fear of getting it wrong, emotional overflow, and we just need to be there to support them. So let's break those down. Cognitive fatigue. School's exhausting for them. The sensory overload, the transitions from task, points of the day, breaks, lunches, masking, social navigation, all before 3 p.m. By the time you get home and homework appears, their brain's done. It's at capacity. Executive function challenges, task initiation, sequencing, and organising materials, switching attention are skills that vary massively between children. Some children might not be able to organise materials until they're paying attention. Task initiation might be dependent on environment. Then there's the perfection and fear of getting it wrong. Many neurodivergent learners carry a deep fear of embarrassment or failure, and homework can be seen as a threat, not a task, but a way they can fail again. Then there's the emotional overflow. Home is the safe place, so the feelings they've held in all day explode and come pouring out. When you see meltdowns, avoidance, tears, or refusal, it's not defiance, it's overload. Their small bodies just can't take any more. So here's an example. Let's walk through a moment many parents tell me about. So as the parent, you say, right, let's get your homework done so it's out of the way. Your child looks at the worksheet, freezes, fear across their face, and says, I can't. You try to reassure them. It's easy. You did this last week. Their anxiety spikes, the tears come, and they shout, I'm stupid. You feel the tension rise in your chest, and suddenly everyone is overwhelmed and upset. You both end the evening feeling guilty, stressed, and disconnected from each other. But let's think about what's happening under the surface in this example. Here's what's actually going on. When they get home, their nervous system is already in threat mode. The task feels huge. The comparison, you did this last week, feels like pressure, and they're scared of failing. Their brain is saying protect, not let's get on with the work. None of this is about willpower. It's about emotional safety. Now, let's see what changes we can make. Let's replay the moment with small, realistic shifts. You greet them after school with, how is your body feeling right now? Do you need food, quiet time, or movement before we can think of anything else? You give them that soft start. When you feel ready, we'll have a look at homework together. No rush. By doing this, you keep the task tiny. Let's read the first question together and decide what it's asking. We're not doing it yet, we are just exploring. You stay alongside them rather than in front of them. Suddenly, the panic reduces, you're a team, and that mountain of homework becomes a small hill. These small changes can make huge differences. Let's look at a case study. I'm too stupid for homework. Let me tell you about a learner who I worked with. And this is a blend of real experiences, but everything is anonymised. Let me tell you about a learner I worked with. Let's call him Leo. Leo avoided homework every single night. He'd shout, cry, or hide under the table. His parents thought he was being defiant. But when I sat down with him one-to-one, his first words were, I don't want to try because what if I get it wrong again? His fear wasn't the work. His fear was shame. So we changed the routine. Homework only happened after a snack and 10 minutes of quiet time to themselves. He chose where he worked, the floor, a table, cozy corner with a blanket or bed. We set a 2-minute timer instead of aiming to complete the whole sheet. And we celebrated effort, not accuracy. Within 4 weeks, his parents said homework had gone from a daily meltdown to manageable. Not perfect, but manageable. And why? Because his emotion safety was finally protected. Let's look at another example. Another learner, Ella, couldn't sit at the table for more than a minute. Homework was impossible. But Ella was a sensory seeker. Stillness wasn't her friend. So we changed the environment. Instead of expecting her to change, we used a whiteboard so she could stand up and write on. We turned spelling practice into games. We added movement breaks. The aim wasn't perfection, it was progress. And suddenly she flew. Not because she sat still, but because we stopped asking her to. What can we do? Here's a simple framework that you can use straight away. Regulate before you educate. Ask your child, how does your body feel right now? You could even give options. Do you need snack? Do you need a movement break? Do you need some time in quiet? How about a weighted blanket or a playlist? Sometimes even a hug, because a regulated child learns and a dysregulated child protects. So start small, smaller than you think. Shrink the task until the child says yes. So an example, let's do 1 question, not 5. Let's break things down into 3-minute blocks instead of 30. Or let's read 2 sentences each rather than a whole page. Small wins build confidence, and confidence builds capacity. And that capacity builds independence. So what about side-by-side support? Instead of standing over them saying, just try, sit next to them and say, let's figure this out together. I'm right here with you. Tell me which bit looks tricky. What are you struggling with? This removes the pressure and builds connection. Let's remove the fear of mistakes. Let's try saying, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Mistakes help me see how I can support you. Your effort matters more than the answer. Neurodivergent kids often need repeated reassurance that they're still safe, even when they're wrong. So what about celebrating what went well, even if it's tiny? After completing homework, you could ask, what part felt okay today? What helped you get through that? What should we keep doing next time? End on a feeling of success, even if it's tiny. Now, a parent once told me that all they did was move homework to the morning on weekends. Now their fighting's gone. This is the magic of small adjustments. I've had another parent say, we now do homework on a giant whiteboard because my daughter hates small lines. Game changer. And another parent shared that the minute I stopped saying should, everything softened. So Parents, I want to leave this with you. Homework doesn't define your child's intelligence. Your child's struggles don't reflect your ability as a parent. And a calm homework routine is absolutely possible. But it begins with understanding, not pressure. You're already doing enough. You're already trying, and you're already showing up. And most importantly, your child doesn't need better. They need you. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If this episode brought you comfort, clarity, and that feeling of, okay, maybe we can do this, then I'm so glad. You're not alone in this, and I'm right here walking alongside you. Take care of yourselves, take care of your children, and take everything one gentle step at a time. Until next time, bye.